right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our weekly 30-minute webinar. This is Matt Sykes and Victor Verba with Variphy, a couple systems engineers over here. I'm quite certain that most of you have heard of us on here before or worked with us previously. We've got a great team over here. Okay, before we get started today, I would like to mention that we have released our Variphy Cube iOS Analytics offering for general availability. Cube Analytics is part of our current 12.3 GA release. People are installing and configuring cubes in Variphy like hotcakes right now. So if cube reporting is of any interest to you, please let us know. Okay, so for today's webinar, we're going to focus on the new report template packages for our Variphy Analytics. These will cover CUCM, Call Manager, UCCX, Contact Center Express, and Cube, Unified Border Element. Okay. We're going to get started off with a quick overview of our company and what we do. We'll jump into a live demo where Victor will guide us through the new report packages. We'll pause for Q&A and get some of your questions answered. During the demo, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them in the Q&A panel in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. The Q&A panel, not the WebEx chat, but the Q&A panel rather. And then after Q&A, we will reward one lucky attendee with a $50 Amazon gift card, so hang around and see if you have won. Okay, a quick overview of Variphy. Variphy is the preferred analytics and management solution for Cisco collaboration. We provide industry-leading CDR reporting and call analytics, customizable dashboards and widgets, UCCX reporting, now Cube reporting, remote phone control, change management, and dial plan management. But today we're going to focus on our new report template packages for our analytics offerings. If you have any questions on any of our other features, we can most certainly take them offline and get those answered. All right, before we get started, lastly, we want to announce that Variphy does now offer a new service offering that provides managed consulting services to our customers. Variphy's systems engineer team, or SE team, will be engaged on one-on-one basis to remotely provide additional consulting, unassisted reporting, dashboarding, building, configurations, and system monitoring assistance. The service provides a dedicated Variphy SE to do all the heavy lifting over the report creations and generations that I just kind of mentioned. For more information, please contact us as we'd be glad to speak more furtherly in depth of this new service offering. Okay, so I believe we're time to go into the wild. So Vic will get us started. So I'm going to go ahead and pass you the wheel, sir.
All right, much appreciated. Matt, tell me a little bit, how's my microphone sounding right now? I know it was a little wonky before I got in.
It was a little choppy. You're sounding crystal clear, my man.
It's amazing what a reboot will do.
That will.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and pass me that ball? We'll go ahead and jump into it. And thank everybody for attending today. We really appreciate everybody that comes out here to kind of see what we're doing, some of the new things, and also some of the things that you can do with your existing systems. So one of the things we're going to jump into today is report templates. It's something we've heard from our customers, just some general templates on and how to do certain things in the system. One of the main issues we've always had with templates is everybody's environment is unique. I always refer to, a call manager is like a thumbprint. Everybody's got doing something a little bit different. But there are some things that we felt that we could templatize for some of our customers to, maybe just kind of nudge them in the right direction. And that's what we're going to cover today. So the report templates are not built into the Variphy application. So a lot of people, have asked, well, why didn't we build them in there? It's something we're working towards, but that is a long-term project for us. Like Variphy, we don't like to just throw things out there just to throw things out there. So when we start looking at report templates, we start looking at more like a wizard type of interface, something that we can ask the right questions to end users and build the report based on the answers to those questions. So in order to get to that point, it's going to take us a little while. There's a lot of background work and UI and interface work that goes into something like that, but we wanted to make sure we can get something to our customers in the near term. So that's why we developed these report templates. So first things first, let's go ahead and walk through how do we get the report templates. So to download the report templates, you can just navigate over to variphy.com and sign in with your Variphy sign-in. If you don't know your login to Variphy, that's no problem. You could always do the lost password. If you need to register for variphy.com, if you need your account number, you can please just absolutely reach out to your account manager, and they'll be more than happy to provide you your account number so that way you can log into Variphy. And just on a side note, your login to Variphy is also what can be used when you're navigating over to Planet Variphy, our user community. We also have information on the templates that we're going to take a look at our user community as well. So feel free to take a look at that. So once you're logged in, you can either, it's going to pop you right into the products download page like mine does, or if you're not at the product downloads, maybe you were driving around in Variphy, you can always go over to support and just go to product downloads. So you'll notice right on the product downloads page, you have the first part of our product downloads, which is downloading the product. You know, the Linux OVA, if you need to do an upgrade or you're just installing, or the OVA right there, Linux downloader, Windows, and things like that. So that's
Victor, let me cut you off, buddy. Let me cut you off. I'm sorry. You're sharing the wrong screen.
Oh, am I really? Well, let's
Yeah,
see
we're
here.
looking at a file
You
explorer.
sure are. Let's see what I've got here. Oh, you know what? That reboot
Sounded great.
Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't work so great. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Matt. All right. So once you're logged into verify.com, and all you have to do, because I wasn't sharing my screen, just navigate over to verify.com, and you can go to the sign in. Let me log out. You'll see sign in right here at the top right. If you don't have your login, you can always do lost password if you don't recall what your password is. If you need to register a new account, you can reach out to your account manager, and they'll be able to provide you an account number to register with. Once you are logged in, you can pop right over to support over here and go to product downloads. And that's going to bring you to our download screen where you can see our latest version that's available either for Linux installer, Windows. If you're installing new, there's the OVA. But if you scroll down just a tad, you're going to see our new format here, and that is the Variphy CUM, CDR, UCCX, and Cube report templates. So this is new, and this is how you're going to go ahead and get your templates. If after this webinar you're like, I forgot how to go ahead and get these, we do have a knowledge base article out there on how to go ahead and implement these templates. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing first is we're going to download all of these guys. So I'm just going to click download templates over here. This is going to download a zip file for you. There's quite a few templates, especially with CDR. We've had a lot of requests for different reports. So these are all zipped up and compressed. So first thing is I downloaded the CDR templates. Then I'm just going to go through and download the UCCX templates. If you guys are running UCCX with Variphy, this is a great way to be able to get some trending reports and some agent-based reports that are common with our end users. All right, you can notice that those guys are just downloading over there. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and download our Cube templates. If you're not familiar with our Cube analytics, definitely check out some of the webinars we've done. If you are interested in testing out or trying out some of our Cube analytics, feel free to hit us up in the chat panel or hit up your account manager. We'd be more than happy to get Cube spun up. It is GAA, so it is available to all of our customers. We just have to make sure we get you spun up and get you a key that's going to support Cube. So I can, another thing you can do, just on a side note, is I can click the download button. You can see those are going to automatically put them in my downloads, based on my browser configurations. But I can also always right click on here and just do save link as. That's going to pop up your standard Windows messaging. Where do you want to go ahead and save the file and things like that. And you can, kind of pick and choose where you want to be able to save those particular Cube reports. And in this case, I'm just going to save them with the other guys over here and just click save. So now I've downloaded the report templates. What am I going to do with those templates? Well, first thing first is I'm going to navigate over to my downloads directory because that's where I put them. So in my downloads directory, you're going to notice I've got my my 3 zip files here for Cube, CUM, and CDR. So you can use any compression extractor you want, 7-zip, Windows is automatic, WinZip, whatever you're using, WinRare, whatever you're using for a decompression utility. For this example, I'm just going to go ahead and use standard Windows extraction tool. It's easy, it's straightforward. It's going to put them in their own folder. So I'm just right-clicking on those files and just doing extract all. It's going to go ahead and create a directory right where I'm at already with my report templates. So we'll do that for all 3 of these guys here. And last but not least, we'll go ahead and get our UCCX templates here. All right, so now that we've got those guys downloaded, if you take a look in that directory, you can see a bunch of JSON files. If you open those guys up, it's going to look like a bunch of JSON. So it's just basically a bunch of code, but we need to get those into Variphy, so we're going to do that now. You minimize that guy and pop back over to Variphy. So these are all reports. So in order to import them, we have to be in the reports section for the cluster that we're importing them into. So if I navigate over to Call Analytics and I navigate to Reports, you're going to be able to choose the cluster type that you want to import these into. Right now, this is my Call Manager cluster. So this is my CDR cluster. You'll notice off to the right over here, if I hover over Create Reports, I also have Import Reports. So if I click on that guy, I can browse directly over to my downloads directory where I have my CUM CDR report templates. And I can pick and choose which reports I want to be able to download, or in this case, I can just hold the shift button and download all of them at once. You'll notice it's going to say it's got 16 files to import. I'm going to go ahead and run import on those, and it's going to quickly bring those in. So now you may have a system like mine with a lot of different people, a lot of different hands in it. I'm an administrator, so I get to see everybody's reports. I can choose to see just my reports or shared reports. But to make things easy, I can just come in and put in the word template right here, click search, and that's going to bring up all of my templates right there. All right, so now what I have is a list of all the CDR templates. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and import my UCCX and my Cube templates as well, just so we can kind of get those out of the way. Then we're going to take a look at them. So because I'm still in my reports section here, I can either click this gear right here, and it's going to bring me a drop list of my other clusters. Alternatively, I can use the app launcher right here and see the same information. And let's go ahead and import our UCCX templates. So I'm going to pop right back into the report section over here. And this is great. We've got a blank slate here. So let's get some reports that we can start using right off the bat. Same thing we did before for our CUCM. I'm just going to go ahead and click import reports, browse right over to my files. And in this case, I'm going to use my UCCX templates. Highlight all of those guys, click open, and let's import them. Excellent. So now what I've got is I've got a series of reports. Some need to be edited, some do not need to be edited and can just be run ad hoc. We're going to take a look at in a moment on how you can identify which ones need to be edited. And before we get too far along, let's go ahead and import our Cube reports also. All right, we're just going to browse over here, go to our downloads, and click our Cube reports here. And let's bring those guys in. And there we go. So now you've got a Variphy system with a lot of different reports in it. You may have an existing Variphy system, and these are great reports to kind of get started with. So let's go ahead and take a look at our knowledge base first, because the knowledge base is a great resource to kind of show you what some of these reports are and what some of these reports do. So we've downloaded our reports, we've downloaded our templates, but what do these templates do? I can just come in and I can start running them, willy-nilly, and a 911 report is probably going to give me 911 type information. But your call manager is not the same as my call manager. Matt's call manager is not the same as your call manager. So there are certain things within some of these reports that are going to have to be configured, like an organizational report. We don't know what organizations you want to report on, so you may have to go into that report to add the departments that you want to search or your organizational entities. So if you take a look at our knowledge base, if I just pop over to support and knowledge base right here, you're going to notice that we've got some report template menus. So we've got CUCM CDR Analytics, we've got UCCX Analytics, and we've got Cube Analytics. And under each one of these categories, you're going to notice a templates option. So Cube reporting templates, UCCX reporting templates. And if I go into any one of these, and we're going to pick on CDR first, this is a list of all of the templates that were included in the template pack. The ones that have an asterisk in front are going to require some edits to be able to match your environment. In other words, these were created based on general information, but it does not match your environment explicitly. So let's take a look at a couple of these, and I'm going to use the first example that we talked about, and that was kind of the organizational summary reports. So if I can notice that this one requires edits. If I take a look at the article, it's going to tell me exactly what I need to change, what is a required change, and where I need to change it. So under my search criteria, I know that I have to change the dialed department. Why? Because my departments are not going to be the same as your departments. So let's take a look at that report example. So now I'm going to pop back over to Variphy. I'm looking at all my templates right here, and I'm going to do the organizational summary by end user, and I'm just going to edit this guy. So here we've got template. You'll notice that it puts the word copy at the end of the import. This is something that is going to be changed in a future release by the end of the year. When these do import, it will not put copy. It's just going to import the name as is. So now what I'm looking at is a copy of my report. Now, maybe I don't want to mess with the template, or maybe I do. Maybe I just want to create a generic template that my end users can use for my organization. I'm just going to remove the word copy, and I'm going to go to my search sets, and you'll notice a department name in here. Now, again, this is where the uniqueness of each call manager comes into play. Your department names are not going to be the same as my department names. So in order for this report to run, you need to be able to put the departments you want to see in the report. So I'm going to remove accounting for now, and I'm just going to put duck sales just because I like ducks. So now I'm looking at duck sales, and really that's all I have to edit in this report. So if I save it, you'll notice it's still a template. There's organizational summary by end user. If I go ahead and run it, we're going to give this guy a quick kick here. I'm going to run this in the HTML format, and I'm just going to run this for the previous week. There we go. And there we go. So now we're looking at a pre-configured report that contains common information. I'm looking at my department name, and yes, I probably should have changed this to duck sales. I'll show you guys how to do that in a second. Total volume of calls, average duration, essentially everything that's configured for my duck sales department, all of my end users, the total volume of calls, along with some graphical representation by hour of day, but also by day of week. So a great, very simple report to be able to provide to a business unit manager that's going to outline all the calls going to or from their organization and who's placing and receiving those calls, how many calls are being abandoned, but also provide that information graphically. So very easy peasy, able to run that report just by changing the department name. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at one other thing that I did want to go ahead and mention here. Not a required change, but you'll notice when I ran my report there, it said the search set was department name. I may want to match that with what my department is. So I can change this to duck sales right there. All right. Now, other things that you can do here. So besides just changing the name, maybe I'll just call this sales. And I can also add additional departments in here. So right now I'm just looking at duck sales, but you know what? Part of my accounting department is also part of my sales group. So I can very easily add additional departments in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and produce a report that's going to be for 2 sales departments or two departments that I consider part of my sales group. And we'll give this guy a quick run. And this guy is designed to break down the department summary as well as the user summary. So what you're going to notice here is there's my accounting department. There's my duck sales department. These are all the people that are involved with each of those particular departments. So again, great, easy template to go ahead and run. Now, there's some other templates that don't really require editing. So let's take a look at some of those. So here, let's go ahead and run, let's pick on a good one. Let's run the 911 calls report. That's a pretty simple one. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to Variphy, and you can see there's our 911 template. I'm just going to edit that. And you know what? For the sake of argument, we're not even going to edit it. We're just going to run it. So I'm just going to click the play sign. And we'll pick some days. I don't know how many 911 calls I'm actually going to have, so we'll see if we can expand this to the current and previous week and see if we get anything. And of course, I don't have any 911 calls, but you'll get the idea. There's really no required edits into this report. It's essentially just going to go ahead and show you all the detail that are going to or from the 911. It's going to show you who placed the 911 call. And then just give you total summary for the time period that your report ran.
Hey, Victor, rerun that report for the previous 30 days.
Previous 30?
I've got one in there.
All right.
I've got one in there. Mm-hmm.
What, are you making 911 calls?
I am not.
So let's go ahead and kick this guy off for the previous 30 days and see what we get here. And oh yeah, there we go. Matt is making 911 calls. No, I'm just kidding. But there we go. You see a perfect example of the report, total count, the duration of the call. I get to see the telephone number or the extension that placed the call, the total duration for it, but also the detail behind the person placing that call. So very easily, I got a quick 911 report. And if I want to edit this and add additional information, maybe you dial 9 access codes sometimes, or you dial 8 access codes, or people potentially misdial. You can go ahead and edit that report and add some additional content in there. So maybe I want it to be 8911. But also sometimes people dial 9911 and accidentally get that 911 call. So you can just very simply just click the plus sign, add additional statistics in there, and save that as your report template. So now my 911 template will include all of those additional values. Right? So those are some of the CDR ones. And again, you know, the knowledge base is really going to be key when you're looking at some of these reports to try to determine what needs to be edited down or what doesn't need to be edited down. Another great one I'm going to hit before we take a look at some of the other ones is the Hunt Group report, an extremely popular report and a great way to get general information. But again, we don't know your hunt groups. So how would we know what to automatically populate into this report? So very simply, if you edit this report down, you can add your hunt group numbers in here, or you can add multiple hunt group numbers in there, and be able to generate a report based on your hunt group for those particular hunt group numbers. All you'll really need to do is just come in here, edit this guy, maybe give it a name, save it, and then just run it. And now you're going to have a great hunt group report that's going to detail all the calls to or from that particular hunt group, as well as who's placing and receiving those calls, and a nice hourly and breakdown of how those calls are being handled. So I'm going to spin this down a little bit here. Let's just do the previous week again on this guy to show you an example here. And there you go. Now you've got a nice canned hunt group report. All you had to do was add your hunt group, and now you're seeing how many calls are going to your hunt group, the average call duration, the percent of calls being answered, who's answering those, nice hourly breakdown, nice statistical breakdown as well for each individual end user, how many calls they're placing and receiving per hour. Well, it's a hunt group, so not necessarily placing, but receiving. So again, very easily, you're able to break that down. And anything that you don't want or you want to add more, it's just a matter of editing the report and adding the additional criteria or taking the criteria out. All right. So with all that said, I'm going to change gears a little bit. And instead of looking at our CDR reports, we're going to do the same thing that we were just looking at here, but we're going to focus in a little bit on some of the UCCX reports. So if I pop over to the knowledge base, I'm going to be able to see I have my UCCX and I have my UCCX reporting templates here. Now, with UCCX, many of these are going to require a change. Why? Because we don't know your queues, and we also don't know your agents. So the agents and the queues have to be entered into the report. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that, and we're going to pick on, we're going to pick on the CSQ trending analysis. So I'm going to quickly switch gears. Literally, I'm going to click the gear, and I'm going to go over to UCCX over here. And now you're going to see I'm still searching template because that's what I was searching on the back and when I left my CDR reporting. So it's just basically bringing up all of my templates. And here I have my CSQ trending analysis. Now we know this requires edits because it has the asterisk in front of it. If I go ahead and edit this guy down, and I take a look at the CSQ trending analytics, you're going to see it's telling me what I need to edit. Click the plus sign, move my queues from left to right. So all I have to do is come in here and move my queues from left to right. Now, when you come in here, it's very possible you may have a queue or two in here, or this may be completely blank for you. So the way queues are derived is based off of the ID of the queue. Now, these reports were built around my queues. It may be ID 10, it may be ID 12. You may possibly have an ID 10 or 12 in your call manager, so you may have, or in your UCCX, so you may have a queue in here. If there is no ID, this is going to be completely blank for you. And all you're going to do is say, hey, from a trending perspective, what queues do I want to be able to see? I'm going to take those, move them from left to right very easily, just like that. All right, that's it. Now I can save that report, and now I've got a CSQ trending analytics report that is going to be for just those two queues. Now, alternatively, let's say I want to keep the template as is. I can always make a quick copy of this guy and get rid of template over here, get rid of copy, and say online help desk. So I'm just changing the name of it, save it, and now I've got that same thing, but it is, I removed template. There we go. There's our report. So same thing. It's just a matter of adding a couple queues into the report and then giving her a run. So we'll run this guy for the previous week and see how these two particular queues are trending. So we also give you some information on best practices for some of these reports. So this is commonly a quarterly report, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to go ahead and run it for a week. The reason it's commonly a quarterly report, because if you take a look at it, you're going to notice that we're going to break things down on not only on month. So when you're looking at a monthly report, just running it for a week is probably not the best example. But we also break it down by day. We also break it down by the individual week and day of week. So you'll see all this information from a CSQ trending perspective. I've got the two queues I added. I've got total volume. And why is this a queue or a trending report? Because it is looking at month-over-month statistics to see, are the changes that we've made in our environment having an impact from September to October or October to November and things like that. This is a great way for somebody or a CSQ manager to be able to get an idea of how are they performing. Are you seeing an influx of calls? If I'm a retail store, getting around holiday time, I'm expecting to see an influx of calls. Well, how are we handling those calls? Being able to see that month-to-month breakdown of those month-to-month percentages is a great way to understand what your CSQ is doing and how you are performing, either with changes that you've made in your environment or just changes in the world where you're starting to receive an influx of calls. That same concept of changing these reports for a CSQ-based report is also the same for an agent-based report. So let's say, for example, I want to see some agent ready and not ready information. So this is a great report when you're trying to monitor your particular agents to see, are we performing to the best of our abilities? So if I go back to our report over here, so we have our agent ready and not ready analysis. If I click on this guy, it's going to tell me exactly what I need to change. So this report is pretty straightforward. So if I go into the report here, and it looks like it's thinking about something. Not sure why it's thinking so long here. Try to open it. There we go. All right. So there, I'm in my report. I have my template. This report is looking at a particular team. If I want a different team, and you most likely will, you will probably not have an online HD team. You're going to come in, you're going to have a blank value. You're just going to go ahead and add the team that you want to be able to search. If you want to add a resource group, you can do that. Just remove the team and add a resource group. All right, so you've got flexibility there. And then you could also do things like matching. So let's say, for example, I want the online help desk team, but I want to be able to exclude myself. And I'm just going to pick Adam over here. So I want to be able to report this team, but I don't want Adam. So now I can go ahead and do some exclusions there. We've got other webinars that talk in depth about how to manipulate some of these reports, but let's keep it simple for this example. So now what we're doing is we're looking at our online help desk team. Now, what's most important about this particular report, and we do go into details in the knowledge base on what you're going to need to edit and what you're going to need to change, is the fact that this is based on not ready information. Now, not ready information is and will be customized to your environment. So it will be much different than my environment. Now, right now I'm editing not ready reason time. If I go in here and I put in not ready reason time, or just not ready time, you'll notice I don't come up with anything because all of my custom values have already been added. Now, if you come in here and key in not ready time, the only thing that's going to show up here are the things that are not already added. And all you'll need to do is just highlight all of those and move them from left to right. So in this particular report, you do have multiple not ready reasons, but you will need to make sure that you add your custom not ready reasons in there. Just by adding not ready count, this will filter down to any counts that are not already in your system. So I know we are out of time and we didn't get to cube, but the concept for the cube reporting is really going to be the same. It's just a matter of editing the reports that are going to require edit. In other words, here's a media address report. I don't know your media addresses, so you're going to need to come in and add your media address in here, so that way when you run this report, it's going to be for your media addresses. Or if you're running one based on peer IDs, it's going to be for your peer IDs. So Matt, I know we are out of time. I hope I was able to shed a little bit of light on just where to get the templates, why we have templates, and how to utilize some of those templates. Do we have any questions today?
We do. Awesome job, Victor. Yes, we do. And let me just kind of rattle a few of them off to you. Femaine had a question with regards to the report that you were running. Can for like the duck sales that you were running, can we like stack rank the report automatically? And I chatted back that, yes, we can, depending on, which cluster style we're in. I mean, whether or not it's call manager, CDR, certainly the groupings in the grouping section can certainly rank them highest to lowest based off of call count, but as well in the contact center express reports, we have the sorting option on those as well.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and all I'm editing that report right now. If you're talking about grouping sections, you're right. This one's grouped based off of highest to lowest count. You can group them off of, just various different values, names, first names, last names, things like that. So you definitely have that flexibility within those reports.
Okay, yep, good question. And then Simi has a question, can users build and share templates in addition to the ones provided on our knowledge base? And well, yes, we most certainly can. They can build their own reports, they can certainly share them, or they can be part of the shared reports for users. So as Victor is showing right there at the very top of his page, that can be shared toggle.
Yep,
is an option for
exactly.
the users to go ahead and share out the reports with other general report sharing users.
Yep, absolutely, and that can be done from a security perspective, where within security within Variphy, you've got the flexibility to go say, hey, I want this particular end user to be able to see all shared reports, and that's really just a toggle. Let me see if I could get to it real quick here. Yep, can access all shared reports, and then what type of access you want them to have, so you can definitely be able to give those, or you could pick certain reports that you want someone to be able to see.
Yep, definitely. And one last question that does have merit here for today's content is from Stacy, one of our partners. How can I copy a report from one system to another?
Sure. One system to another. Yeah, absolutely. So let's say, for example, we'll use.
One thing I will definitely mention while Victor's running through this, so be mindful of the Variphy versions that you're going from and to.
Good point.
You don't
Yeah,
want to be
absolutely.
reversed from a newer one to an older. You want to obviously be older to newer at best, or if not parallel.
Yep, absolutely. You're absolutely right, and the reason of that is sometimes there's changes within our system that add new features. So in other words, I can't bring a report that is maybe querying on hunt group description into a system that doesn't even know what hunt group description is. So absolutely point. So yeah, let's say for example, I've got this hunt group report over here. I want to be able to get this into a totally different customer, totally different system. All I got to do is click this little download button right here, and now I've got that same JSON that you imported for your templates. You can do whatever you need with this. You can import this into another system, or you can even import that into a different cluster to be able to build that report off of a completely different cluster. So you've got some flexibility over there.
Yep, perfect. Yep, easy little import, export, import. And that's all the questions that we have for today. If anyone else has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to support@variphy.com.
All right, Matt, I made you the presenter there.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're coming out of the wild. We have addressed Q&A, so now it is the moment we've all been waiting for, a little drum roll. Okay, so this week's Amazon $50 Amazon gift card winner is Roger Peterson. Woo, congratulations, Robert. We'll coordinate with your account manager and reach out to you shortly after this session. Okay, next week's webinar will be on Common Cube reporting requests and field definitions. Looks like it's Mike and Victor, and they'll be showcasing the most common Cube reporting fields and requested reports. Okay, so please feel free to go ahead and register for that. And lastly, thank you all for joining today, but last further plug here on Planet Variphy. So this is our user community forum, so please feel free to either reach out to us or even just browse to planet.variphy.com or variphy.com/planet. So thank you all for attending today, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye
you all.